Okay, so you guys sent us a ton of stuff to look into about this product, Mitolyn.
Yeah, a lot of people have been,
And asking your bub. And honestly, we're pretty curious too. It claims to supercharge your metabolism and energy level.
from what we've seen so far, it's all about boosting something called mitochondria.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're presenting it as based on some new science.
So for this deep dive, we're going to stick to the information on the official Mitolyn website and really try to understand what they're claiming and the evidence they're using.
Because the website even mentions Harvard scientists.
Yeah, they say Harvard scientists discovered that people who are overweight tend to have lower levels of these mitochondria, and people who are slim and energetic have higher levels.
And they base this on a study of 1,700 men and women, which is.
A pretty significant sample size.
So, what exactly are mitochondria? Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So basically, they're like tiny little engines inside our cells.
Like the power plants of our cells.
Exactly, yeah. And their job is to create energy, the kind of energy our cells need to function, which is called ATP. Yep, adenosine triphosphate. But you can just think of it as the energy currency of our bodies.
Okay, got it. So, these little engines are making the energy our bodies run on.
Right. And they do this by burning fat from the food we eat and also the fat stored in our bodies.
So, the idea is that the more of these mitochondria we have, the more fat we burn.
Exactly. And that's where Mitolyn comes in. They claim it's a unique blend of 6 exotic nutrients and plants that are supposed to help support healthy mitochondrial levels.
So, by taking Mitolyn, you're basically giving your cells more of these little energy producing engines.
That's the theory they're putting forward. Now let's dig into that new scientific discovery they keep mentioning.
Yeah, the whole Harvard scientist thing. They're saying these scientists found this link between low mitochondria and being overweight in a study of over 1,700 people. And they even provide links to some scientific publications to back up their claims.
Okay, let's take a look at those. The first one is called Leukocyte Mitochondrial DNA Copy Number, Anthropometric Indices, and Weight Change in U.S. Women.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is. But basically what it suggests is that they looked at the amount of mitochondrial DNA in white blood cells.
Which are part of our immune system.
Right. And they compared that to different body measurements and how weight changed over time, specifically in women.
Okay, so that's one study. Then there's another one called Impaired Mitochondrial Biogenesis in Adipose Tissue in Acquired Obesity.
Now, biogenesis, that's just a fancy way of saying the creation of new mitochondria.
So this study is looking at whether people who become obese have trouble creating new mitochondria in their fat tissue.
Right, because adipose tissue, that's just another name for fat tissue.
Got it. Makes sense. Okay, what's the next study?
This one is called Persistent Low Body Weight in Humans is associated with higher mitochondrial activity in white adipose tissue.
So this one seems to be saying that people who naturally maintain a lower body weight might have more active mitochondria in their fat.
Exactly. And the last one they list is mitochondrial DNA copy number in peripheral blood is independently associated with visceral fat accumulation in healthy young adults.
Okay, so this one is focusing on visceral fat, which is the fat around our organs, right?
That's right. And it's looking at the amount of mitochondrial DNA in blood and how it relates to the amount of visceral fat in young, healthy adults.
Interesting. So they're pulling these studies together to suggest that their product, Mitolyn, can somehow influence these mitochondrial factors that seem to be connected to weight and metabolism.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, whether those connections are as direct and straightforward as they make it seem, that's something we need to be a bit cautious about.
Right. Okay, so let's get into the ingredients in Mitolyn. What are these 6 exotic nutrients and plants they're talking about?
All right, so the first one they highlight is maqui berry.
Maqui berry.
Yeah, it's a purple fruit from Chile.
Yeah.
And they say it's packed with something called anthocyanin. Anthocyanin, which is a type of antioxidant.
Okay, I've heard of antioxidants. Those are good for us, right?
They are. They protect our cells from damage. And in this case, they're claiming that the anthocyanin in maqui berry promotes mitochondria.
They even give references 1 and 2 for that claim.
Right? Now, some research has shown that anthocyanins might actually help boost the activity of mitochondria.
Interesting. And they also say maqui berry supports a healthy heart and healthy cholesterol levels.
Which makes sense considering it's a powerful antioxidant.
Okay, what's the next ingredient on the list?
It's rhodiola. Rhodiola. Yeah, they call it an adaptogen.
Adaptogen.
Basically, that means it helps your body deal with stress.
Ah.
And they say it's full of over 140 polyphenols.
140.
Yep. Including 2 specific ones they mentioned. Reduces stress, improves mood,
Rosavin and
supports brain health.
salidroside.
It does have a long history of use in traditional
References
medicine.
3 and 4.
And there is some research suggesting it might have beneficial effects on energy levels and cognitive function.
Well, that sounds like a wonder
The
plant.
third ingredient is Hematococcus. Yeah, that one's a bit of a tongue twister. It's a uniferate algae.
Okay,
Similar.
what's next?
But this one is special because it's a source of astaxanthin,
Hematococcus.
another powerful antioxidant. And again, they claim it promotes
Algae,
mitochondria.
like seaweed.
And they also say it supports healthy joints and immune
Astaxanthin.
response. Yeah, astaxanthin
This
is
time
known
references
for its
5 and 6.
anti-inflammatory properties and its potential benefits for various aspects of health.
Okay, so this one seems to be more about overall health and well-being.
Number 4 is amla, which is a special kind of fruit. They say it's full of flavonoids, antioxidants, and essential
Okay, so we've
nutrients.
got 3 ingredients down.
Yeah, those are
What's
another
number
type
4?
of plant compound with antioxidant properties.
Amla.
And once again, the claim is that it promotes mitochondria. Right. They also say
Flavonoid.
amla supports healthy digestion and vision. Exactly.
With references
Okay, on to ingredient
7
number
and 8.
5. This one is Theobroma cacao.
Interesting. So this one seems to be
You might
about
know it better
supporting
as
a wide
cacao.
range of bodily functions.
Yep,
Okay.
that's right. They call it a tropical
Get me.
superfood. And they specifically mention
Theobroma
epicatechin,
cacao.
which is a compound found in cacao.
As in chocolate.
Epicatechin, they claim it promotes mitochondria,
Well, already
citing
sold.
references 9 and 10. They also say it supports healthy blood pressure and acts as a natural aphrodisiac.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here.
That's what they're claiming. And there is some research suggesting that cacao flavanols,
Wow.
like
So
epicatechin,
chocolate is good for your
might have
heart, your love
beneficial
life, and
effects
your
on
mitochondria.
cardiovascular health, and even cognitive function. The final one is Schizandra. They describe it as powerful, calorie-burning red berries loaded with antioxidant compounds.
Okay, last but not least, what's the 6th ingredient?
And you guessed it, they claim it promotes
Schizandra.
mitochondria. References 11 and 12 this time. They also say Schizandra supports
Calorie-burning
liver
berries.
health and helps
I'm
maintain
intrigued.
skin elasticity. That's what they're suggesting. And there is some
Okay,
research
they're definitely
exploring the
consistent with
potential
that claim.
benefits of Schizandra for liver function and its antioxidant properties.
So it's good for insides and outsides.
Well, they have a few different purchasing options. The basic option is 1 bottle,
Okay, so that's the
which is a
rundown of all
30-day
6
supply,
ingredients and their
and
claimed
that costs
benefits.
$59.
Now, how much does this stuff cost?
Right.
Lay
That's
it
a
on me.
90-day supply, and it costs $147. Exactly. And then there's their most
Okay,
popular
then
option,
they have a
which is
bundle
6
option
bottles.
with 3 bottles,
Yep, a 180-day supply for $234.
and it comes with 2 free bonuses.
It is. But this one also comes with the 2 free bonuses and free
6
shipping.
balls. Wow, that's a lot of
Highlight is their
Mitolyn.
recommended choice. Called
In the
One Day
US.
Kickstart
And
Detox.
they say 96% of their
Detox. It
customers
includes
choose this
20
option, which they
bizarre 15-second detox
Okay,
tea
so
recipes.
what are these 2 free bonuses they keep mentioning? The first
The idea seems to be to help cleanse your body and get it ready to absorb Mitolyn more effectively.
bizarre 15-second tea
The second bonus
recipes.
is called
Okay, I'm
Renew
officially
You.
curious.
And this one is all about mental well-being. It focuses on simple methods to
Interesting.
relieve stress,
And what are the second
calm the
bonus?
mind, boost confidence, and reduce
Renew
anxiety.
You.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the guarantee. Yeah, because that's a big one.
So it's
for
like a
any product
holistic
like this.
approach to
They
complement
have a
the potential
90-day,
physical benefits of
100% money
Mitolyn.
back guarantee. Yeah, they say if you're not amazed by the fat loss and body changes within
Yeah,
90 days,
definitely. What kind
you
of
can get
guarantee would they offer?
no questions asked, even if the bottles are empty.
90 days.
It is. It definitely shows they're confident in their product.
Full refund. No
Well,
questions
they
asked.
emphasize that it's proudly manufactured in the USA.
Wow.
Made in America,
That's a pretty
using
bold
both
guarantee.
domestic and foreign ingredients. And they say it's
Okay.
produced in
What
an
else do they say
FDA
about
registered
Mitolyn?
and GMP certified facility. Right, which using both domestic and foreign ingredients.
Yeah.
And they say it's produced in an FDA registered and GMP certified facility.
FDA registered, GMP certified.
Right, which basically means it meets certain quality standards.
Okay, that's good to know. What about the formula itself?
They highlight that it's natural plant-based, non-GMO, soy-free, and dairy-free.
So it's suitable for a lot of people with dietary restrictions.
Exactly. And they say it's third-party tested for purity and potency. Third-party tested, meaning an independent lab has verified the quality of the ingredient.
Okay, that adds some credibility. They also mention that it doesn't contain any stimulants and it's not habit-forming.
Right. Which is important for people who are sensitive to stimulants or worried about becoming dependent on a supplement.
Definitely. Now, I know a lot of people are influenced by seeing what other people have experienced with a product.
Yeah, social proof is powerful. Yeah, and the Mitolyn website definitely leverages that. They have a whole section with real user reviews and reported results.
Give us some examples.
Well, there's Peggy B from Rexton, Michigan. She says she's 35 pounds lighter after using the 6-metal package.
Wow, 35 pounds.
Then there's Russell L. from Macon, Georgia. He claims he torched 29 pounds with the 3-bottle package.
Torch 29 pounds. I like that.
And Connie A. from Montclair, New Jersey says she dropped 40 pounds after using the 6-bottle package.
Okay, so those are some pretty impressive claims.
They are. But of course, it's important to remember that these are just individual anecdotes and not necessarily representative of everyone's experience.
Right. Okay, let's move on to the frequently asked questions. They have a whole section dedicated to that.
Yeah, they seem to be anticipating a lot of common questions, which is good.
So what's the first question they address?
The big one is Mitolyn right for me?
Makes sense. That's what everyone wants to know.
And their answer is basically yes, especially if you have stubborn fat that just won't go away with diet and exercise alone.
They also say it's worked for thousands of people aged 18 to 80.
So they're claiming a pretty wide range of applicability.
Okay, what's the next question?
Another important one is Mitolyn's...
Safety is always a top concern.
And they respond by highlighting all the things we talked about earlier, about its natural formula, its manufacturing in a certified facility, and its third-party testing.
They also recommend consulting with your doctor before taking it just to be safe.
Which is always good advice before starting any new supplement.
Absolutely. Okay, what about dosage? Do they address that?
Yep. They say the best way to take Mitolyn is 1 capsule daily with a big glass of cold water.
And how many bottles do they recommend ordering?
They suggest a 3 to 6 month supply, especially for those over 35 or with more weight to lose.
Okay, so they're encouraging people to commit to a longer-term approach.
Exactly. They say it takes time for the product to work and to lock in the weight loss.
And do they have any sneaky subscriptions or hidden charges?
Nope. They explicitly state that it's a one-time payment with no auto shipments or hidden fees.
That's good to know. And they reiterate their 90-day money-back guarantee in the FAQ section.
Right. Even on empty bottles. Just to really
drive that point home.
Exactly. And finally, they have a clear call to action encouraging visitors to click on the package they want to order. Highlighting
the bonuses and free shipping available with the larger packages.
Yep, so that's pretty much everything covered on the Mitolyn website.
Wow, that was a lot of information.
It was. And it's important to remember that all of this is coming directly from the company that's selling the product.
So it's definitely presented in a way that's designed to be persuasive.
Absolutely.
Now, we've talked a lot about mitochondria and their role in metabolism, and we've
gone through the 6 ingredients in Mitolyn and the specific benefits they claim for each one.
But our final thought for you today is this. Considering how important mitochondria are to our overall health and the plant-based ingredients that Mitolyn highlights,
what other ways could you explore to support your own mitochondrial health beyond
claims made by this specific product?
Because there's a whole world of research out there on nutrition, lifestyle, and other factors that can influence mitochondrial function.
So do your own research, think critically, and see what else you can discover. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Mitolyn, and we'll see you next time.